皆さんこんにちは、ガナー雅子です。今日は、アメリカで大活躍の保守論客のキャンディス・オーウェンズさんにインタビューをさせていただきたいと思います。彼女はこのブラックアウトという本を2020年に出版されましてベストセラーとなっております。
And I think the one thing that I would try to get people on focus on, and something that I speak about a lot in this book, is that anything that is an attack on the family is meant to strengthen government. And so it can sometimes be difficult to string together all of the various things that the left is attacking. I mean, I can't speak for Japanese politics, but in America, you know, there's this new transgendered push. Like, they want children to be picking their genders. You know, the idea that biology is a lie and that men can be women and women can be men is a really bizarre push that we've seen in this last 5 years, which is leading to children that are, you know, mutilating their own bodies because adults are confirming this lie, because adults are being deluded by what they're seeing on the media screen. We're seeing the over promotion, and then this is why I try to separate between somebody who is gay and who is lesbian versus the agenda. The agenda is different. A gay person, you know, I have no problem with. The gay agenda, where you're telling kids and talking to kids constantly about being gay and lesbian and putting it in their cartoons, you know, things they used to just be able to watch Sesame Street. Now Sesame Street is telling you this person's gay and going back and redoing old cartoons. Yeah, they're going back and they're redoing cartoons and saying this person's gay and this person's a lesbian. That's an agenda. And when it's focused on kids, what they're doing is they're focusing on the next generation, and you go, why are they doing this? This seems so crazy. When you think about climate change, which has become a radical new religion, in America at least, the reason the planet is going to die, they change it every 10 years. Literally, when I was a kid, it was global warming. They told us it was going to be global cooling. They told us it was going to be the ozone layer. They told us it was going to be acid rain, acidic oceans. And now they've landed on climate change, right? Because it's like everything. And you go, why are they doing this? What is this new religion that they're so focused on and pretending that this is going to be the end of the world, while ignoring, you know, blatant, you know, things that they could aspire to help fix. Like, for example, I had a North Korean defector on my show who was talking about the very real ring of, you know, North Korean girls that are being sex trafficked to China because China had that one-child policy. They picked males, and there was a shortage of women. So they're creating problems where there are none and ignoring the problems where they actually are some. And if you look at all of these random topics and you think about what ties them together, the answer is it's an attack on family. So the climate change lobby is teaching children that it's irresponsible to have families, right? You've seen people held up like Harry and Meghan, who are widely disliked, and yet the media pretends that they're liked, and they're receiving awards for agreeing to only have 2 children. You have people in the climate change lobby saying, have no children, right? You're teaching children that it's irresponsible to have a family. Obviously, in a scenario where somebody is married, 2 men are married, having a child is not really an option outside of, you know, finding a surrogate, which is a very expensive route to go. Same thing for lesbians outside of finding a donor. So you're guaranteeing yourself that, you know, families being created there's going to be a disruption. The trans agenda, forget it. Once you mutilate your body outside of adoption, you can't have more children. When you see these routine attacks, you realize that what this all has in common is that it's an attack on the family unit. And the one thing that stands between a government and utter omnipotence and having power over everything is the family unit, right? The government wants to become your family. And we see this even in the examples of how they denigrate people that are religious, like Christians are repeatedly denigrated in the media. The Bible Belt Christians, they become a bit of a meme and a joke to leftists. And it's so by the book. Communist Manifesto. You know, there was a reason that Karl Marx was against the family, because he understood that the government needed to be the family. The government needed to become God. And so you needed to disrupt normalcy. And the left doesn't understand that because simultaneously there's a lack of education that's happening. So now the kids are learning about all of these different genders that don't exist, right? And the kids are learning about all of these race issues that don't exist, but they're not learning math and science, right? We're producing dumber and dumber and dumber people. And of course, we've learned through the example of Black Americans and the slavery that existed in this country, that an educated mind cannot be enslaved. There's a reason that they did not want slaves to be allowed to learn to read. The government wants you to be dumb. The government wants you to be polluted. And the government wants you to just be emotional and like a toddler and without any meaningful skills that can help you get ahead, because that creates an environment where, whether you realize it or not, you are enslaved. You are owned by the government. The government is now your God. The government is now your family. The government is now your source. The government is now your son.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. I'm not married yet, but I would love to get married and have many kids, like 10 kids.
Same.
One of the things that other women think when feminists, you talk much about feminists in this book too. When I hear those people, I feel like they wanted to revenge their lives to the people who have hope still, you know?
It's true. It's very true. Radicalized feminism, that's another one of the, you know, the left's core tenets. And again, attack on family, right? You know,
Yes.
You don't need a man. You can do it by yourself. You should want to climb to the top and be a CEO of a company and not aspire to having family. And again, another lie, and usually a lie that most women catch on to too late. At least in our country, the most radical and the loudest feminists are the people that have no family, that have no children.
Yes.
It's almost like they think they can get their life back by screaming into the abyss and saying, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And they become increasingly more radical. And at their core, you know, they're sad. They are sad and they are upset that they bought into a lie when they were young, and you can't really go back. You can't get time back. And I try to tell women that. You know, my second book I'm working on is directly about feminism and for women to wake up and to understand, catch on to the lie early, or your entire life will be ruined. But family is what gives you pleasure in life. No one sits on their deathbed and says, oh, I wish I just worked a few more hours, right?
And when those feminists trying to encourage people like me, like single ones, like we can live by ourselves, or it's like our choice to have children or not. You know, the reason why you are here is because your mother gave you birth to you.
That's exactly right.
So I feel so sad for them. I'm so sorry for them.
Yeah.
So I hope your next book will encourage those people and hopefully save those who are in trouble too.
Right. And it really is, I mean, really the thesis of the second book is just that, I mean, you can try as hard as you would like to, but you will never defeat your biology. In the end, biology always wins. And people need to understand that. They have this idea that you can just brainwash people and eventually this will be the way. Just at the end, biology wins. It's the natural order of things. You know, it's never going to go away. Men and women are what create children. Women have a desire to nurture, and you start to realize it when you get older. It's easier to fall for the feminist lie when you're young, and then as you sort of get older, you're sort of like, I want a family. You know, just something inside of you says, I want a family. It's not a teaching. It's not a doctrine. It's something inside of you, biological, that tells you that you want a family. And hopefully people catch on to that and don't allow people to brainwash them against what their body is telling them.
I guess you're having very wonderful marriage life now.
Yeah.
Could you please share some of your joy?
Yeah, I mean, every joy in my life is based around my family. And that is also something that I think encourages me. When people always ask me, how do you deal with all of the hate and all of the mean comments that you get? I always tell them that I don't get my sense of security or myself from the internet. What a horrible existence to have if I wake up and I decide whether or not I'm going to have a happy day or a bad day based off of the internet, right? I'm very much invested in real life meaning my real husband and my real son and my real family, and those moments, right? And that is not something that anything on the web has the ability to take away from me, right? So, and I encourage people to find the same, because when you have that sort of an equal footing, there's no greater source of energy or security than family.
I watched many of your shows, and you're talking about your grandparents and grandfather a lot, and you're at one of the Congress hearing. You are to testify, and then some member there, he was trying to make you look like as a racist, and you are about to jump off, and then your grandfather was in the same room, and he was encouraging you to fight, right? It's so beautiful to me because you're fighting not only by yourself but with your husband and with your grandfather. And actually, I'm a journalist, and I've been doing many things to protect my country too. And what moved me the most is my father. He taught me many conservative views, and he actually do many activities. So I felt like, oh, wow, like you, I thought like you have happiness of fighting within your family together against whatever that makes your country goes bad. And I'm fighting with my family too. So I really thought like you are the true person. You know, sometimes people when they have some opinion, like feminism, it's the way to express their feeling or their regret, whatever they have in their emotion. But the real conservative people like you, your power is not those kind of things. You have the power of family. That's what makes your activity real.
Yeah.
And you have the huge influence. Yes, that's what I felt.
Thank you.